Have you bought something online recently? Whether you need a new rug for your house or to get groceries, it's likely that you'll first look at online retailers. Each time that you place an online order, you get an email confirming that the retailer has received your request, along with purchase and delivery information. The process is very similar for businesses buying goods for their operations. A company creates a purchase order to request needed goods for a supplier. Then that supplier creates a sales order or a receipt listing these goods. It's crucial that business owners understand the purpose of a sales order versus a purchase order, which is exactly what we will be discussing in today's video. I'm Raid here with Jotform. Let's get started. Every business that buys and sells goods uses both purchase orders and sales orders. When comparing a sales order and a purchase order, business owners need to understand how each of them work, as one can't exist without the other. The differences between a sales order and a purchase order is what defines the relationship between them. Sending a purchase order is one of the last steps in a purchasing workflow. The purchase order includes the items requested, the quantities, and their cost. Once the buyer files the purchase order and the supplier agrees to it, it becomes a legal contract. On the other hand, a supplier sends a sales order to a buyer to confirm an order request before they deliver the goods, thus completing a step in their workflow. For instance, if a local park wanted to buy soccer nets for its new field, it would send a purchase order to a sporting goods provider. Once both parties agreed on the sales terms, the provider would send a sales order or a receipt of purchase to the park. It would say the same information as the purchase order along with an expected delivery date. There are a few steps that need to be completed before these forms intersect. In the purchase order process, a company typically deliberates internally about the exact request it will send to a supplier. You and your team also have to discuss what you're asking for and why you're asking for it. Make sure that you don't overcompensate or fail to order enough goods. After this is settled, communication shifts externally to another company. Once you agree to terms about what the supplier will deliver, they'll send a sales order detailing what your business is going to receive. This is a simple document that reasserts the contract both sides have entered into. As long as these processes are done efficiently, neither company should have to wait very long to receive the correct forms. The methods used to work with your internal teams are going to differ from the ones you use to work with a supplier. No matter what your methods are, it's important to be precise and ensure you're organized. A supplier might not have the same approval processes as your business, so make sure you get everything correct in your purchase order by going over the proper approvals. That way, once your supplier sends over a sales order, there won't be any confusion or need to retract steps. If you work for a large company that needs a part for a new product that only a specialized vendor can supply, then your purchase and receipt approvals should be in sync to eliminate any bumps in the purchasing process. A purchase order triggers a sales order. So for every purchase order, you'll have an accompanying sales order to file away for future reference. If a company decides to place recurring purchase orders for a product it uses frequently, it can access the original purchase order to check cost information and help with budgeting. On the flip side, the supplier can log payments it receives from a buyer to chart its profit growth. An organized business keeps proper records for purchases and incoming orders in a detailed database. If you don't know what your inventory looks like, then you won't be able to determine if you need additional supplies. A supplier that doesn't track transactions won't have a way to project their future earnings. Whether you're completing a sales order or a purchase order, saving those forms will help you stay on top of your business and create a living database of your day-to-day operations. Handling a large volume of transactions is difficult to do manually, which is why it's important to find a program that can automate the process and help you streamline your workflow. This is where Jotform comes in. Whether you're creating a sales order or a purchase order, Jotform has many carefully designed templates for you to conduct your business. There's also the Assign Forms feature, which allows you to define who's in charge of handling orders and requests to make sure everyone on your team understands the responsibility. You also have access to Jotform Approvals, which allows you to create a detailed visual workflow and designate individual team members as approvers. Plus, the communication capabilities via Jotform Inbox enables you to stay on top of the work that your team still needs to do. If you're in need of a centralized location to reference purchasing information, then look no further than Jotform Tables. All form submissions automatically populate the associated table in Jotform Tables. You can even create reports with the report view to analyze your purchasing history. And if you need to work on the go, you can use Jotform Mobile Forms. Okay, let's review. Purchase orders are requests sent to suppliers for needed goods, and sales orders are receipts for said goods. They both consist of different workflows and different types of communication between teams. There will likely be separate approval processes between suppliers and businesses, so it's important to keep all purchase and sales orders organized with established databases. All of these workflows can be complicated when done manually, but you can automate them with Jotform and their plethora of tools. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm Raid here with Jotform. Have a good one.